How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Squire Time. I'm Hanson.
I'm John.
And I'm Caden.
And today we're going to talk about what we've done during COVID.
Quarantine.
That'll work.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like what you listen to, if you like our podcast, be sure to support us in any way that you can with any sort of likes, follows, money.
The monies.
Yeah, anyways, we just want to throw that in there to get as much of a backing as we can before we proceed with our podcast. So, speaking of podcasts and what we're doing to chew up some of our time in quarantine, Hanson, why don't you start with some things that you've done to chew up some time?
I mean, my quarantine isn't really quarantine-y. I've actually, I'm essential technically being law enforcement, so I've been at work. So nothing's really changed for me except for, like our local Walmart closes early, so that helps me out at work, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's entirely true, Hanson.
What do you mean?
I think the public has a right to know.
Oh, man. Are you trying to violate my HIPAA? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm not bound by HIPAA. I don't work for I don't work for healthcare.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like once I tell you, like it's out there.
It is.
Yeah, so I was at work it was a couple weeks ago now. Probably like 2.5, and I started coughing, and a coworker of mine was like, "Man, that sounds kind of dry. Like that's like what they're talking is like one of the symptoms." And I was like, dude, it's just allergies. I've dealt with allergies before. But on the inside, I knew I've never really gotten a cough with my allergies.
It's just the panic sets in.
I had a little bit of tension fear. So then I was like, man, I have been kind of feeling feverish. One night I woke up in a sweat. I've been getting really cold, really hot, hoodies on and off, things like that. But I don't have a thermometer at my house.
Thermometer.
I don't have a thermostat at my house. Caden, do you have a thermometer at your house right now?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I also have one.
You do? Mm-hmm. See, I've lived 4 or 5 years now by myself. Never thought to buy a thermometer. So then I was like, well, I should go get one to see where I stand, because one of the bigger symptoms is a fever of 104 or higher, or 100.4. I can't remember which one it is.
It's above 99.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna go get a thermometer. Everywhere is sold out of thermometers.
Wow.
Because people are buying like one per family member. I'm like, well, you're already living with them. You're gonna get sick. Just stick it with your one thermometer.
Genius.
So the next day I went back to work. I talked to EMS, whose like office is right next to ours. I was like, hey, would y'all mind just taking my temperature real quick? I've been showing a couple signs. I just want to know. And he took it, and he was like 99.1. I was like, that's a little bit higher than normal. He was like, yeah, but you're working, you're wearing a ballistic vest, you're fine. But then as he said you're fine, all of the personnel, like EMS personnel, like backed away from me. I was like, well, that doesn't make me feel fine. So I told another coworker, and she was like, well, you should probably tell our sergeant. I was like, yeah, but if I tell him, he's going to send me home. And she was like, yeah, but it's better that than we all get infected with whatever you got.
True.
So I got home. We had a few days off, and a coworker texted me. He's like, hey, the sheriff's office opened up like a free virtual assessment. And I was like, sure, screw it, I'll take it. So I go on there, and I take the virtual assessment and answer all the questions. A bunch of weird ones like diarrhea, different things like that. That's the main one that stuck out to me, though. So, yeah, I go through the whole thing, and it said, you might have COVID. You need to quarantine yourself. I was like, okay. Till when? And then they gave me a doctor's note for the 20th. And I was like, that's out there. So I had to wait until the 20th they were going to set me up for. And then my captain got in touch with me. He's like, that's unacceptable. We're going to get you tested quicker. Try this other one, this other virtual assessment that we have. So I did that one, and they were like, yeah, you don't have it. You don't need to be tested. And I was like, wow. Okay. Got one that says I do, one that says I don't. So I ended up getting tested through the local facility that they have us go to, and they rammed a Q-tip in my nostril, scraped my brain with it. I think COVID just resides there, so they scrape your brain with it. Yeah. And finally, I got my test back like 3 days later, and it was negative. But they still wrote me out for like 4 more days.
Wow.
So my quarantine's kind of been quarantine-y.
What have you been doing?
What have I been doing with my quarantine?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Just kind of, honestly, just like setting up stuff for my YouTube channel. I'm gonna plug it. Here it comes.
God dang it.
That's
go
fine.
to the deliberation room. Watch my view stuff. I have videos. One of them's for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, new game. Go ahead and check it out.
Jesus.
Yeah, watch a cop play Breakpoint. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, like I throw in some actual tactics and stuff. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, while we're at it, Caden, what's your channel called?
My channel's Chimham, and I play games, but I am in no way a professional at anything, so it's fun.
Well, I'm not professional. Oh man, John, how's your quarantine been?
Hell.
Man, would you care to elaborate?
So, my current living situation, I live with my parents.
Yeah.
Because I'm a college student.
Yep.
It's the cheapest way to live.
And you live kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
I live so far away from
Yeah.
everything. So I don't know if anyone listening to this is familiar with bandwidth power. Average bandwidth in the United States is like, what, 30 to 60, something like that?
Something like that, sure.
And that's megabytes per second, download speed.
Yep.
My download speed is 2.
Mine's usually in the 60s.
Mine is 2,
Wow. Mine's
2 megabytes.
mine's like
There's-
8
Wow.
or 9.
8 or 9?
Yeah.
Holy mama.
a brother
Why do you, yeah? Why do you think I'm complaining? And my job is to download and upload videos on the
Must take
reg,
so long.
and so it drives me crazy. Yeah.
My job currently is to collaborate online with people to help them.
Wow.
So,
Good lord, guys.
and it just disconnects in the middle of an appointment.
Now, I used to
Oh,
live out near you, and one time we called Comporium to be like, hey, do y'all by any chance get internet out to us? They laughed,
Yeah, they
said,
did.
no, we don't,
Yeah.
and they hung up.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's-
laughed.
Screw them.
Yeah,
Oh,
Wow. Actually, don't screw anyone. Just
just impale them with your sword, squires.
yeah.
Rise against. So, like, what have you, now that since you're out there with limited internet, what have you been doing?
So, a lot of I am still in classes right now
Yeah.
in college, so a lot of my time has been spent just doing
sure.
homework.
Yeah. How's the online schooling
It
experience?
is the worst.
Really?
It is so bad. These teachers, like, they're used to teaching in person and everything. I have some teachers right now that have never taught online before,
No.
Oh.
and I'm dealing with that. So, I mean, I get that they're also like going through their learning curve,
Yeah.
and I'm not like bashing them, saying like you're making my life hell.
But you are.
I mean, you are, but I mean, it's not entirely your fault. Like, I
Yeah, yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
I understand that you're having to learn right along with me. But I think my problem is the expectation from the teachers is, hey, you're at home, you don't have anywhere to go, you have all this extra time
Let's do all this
to
extra
do these
work.
to do these extra times. Why don't you
Man.
do these?
That's ridiculous.
I'm
Now,
like,
Katie,
dude.
you're doing online schooling too, right?
Yeah, I am.
But then again, you've kind of secretly been online through your school.
Secretly. I mean, it's not totally secret. Like, I am registered for online classes.
Yeah.
You just tapped in.
What school is that? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I've been doing online classes, and thankfully the past week has been in between semesters, and this current week is in between semesters. But next semester, I am not looking forward to, because like John, I'm doing remote classes. So it's not online and it's not in person, but it's remote. So like it's like online classrooms, like with Zoom, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and
And that's not because of COVID. That's just because of the way they're setting up the class.
yeah, it is because of COVID. Like,
Oh, okay,
they
wow.
are classes that I was supposed to take in person, but because of next
Jeez.
semester being shut down, they're doing it all remote.
They've already shut down the next semester.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I think Winthrop is actually. I go to Winthrop University.
Yeah.
I think they're behind everyone
The
else.
curve.
Like, most people have said, we're closed
Yeah.
for the foreseeable future.
Wow.
Winthrop's like, We're gonna close. We might close for summer too. We don't know yet.
Stay tuned. You might be back this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
Playing it by ear.
And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like I'm about to graduate. I'm dipping. Like I am out.
So has y'all's walk across the stage already been canceled?
It's not been canceled. It's
Okay,
been
wow.
quote unquote
What?
rescheduled.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They are still planning on doing it, but they don't know when.
Date
What if-
is TBD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
what if they did just a giant Zoom meeting and you just walk across the webcam? and you're-
There's a
and you're
school-
gone?
school in
Crash their
Japan
server.
where they're like putting like these robots with like TVs on it, and
Wow.
they're the person's face like through a Zoom kind of thing, and they're like moving the robots across the stage.
That is so stupid.
Or if they did like life-size posters of everyone.
They'll you put the diploma up against the poster and it just drops.
just drops on the ground. Or you just
Yeah,
staple it
but-
to their chest.
The little robot thing has like a little tray that you set it on.
And you shake the robot hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. So Caden, how's your quarantine experience been?
It's been pretty horrible.
Yeah.
But
what's
and
causing that?
it's getting worse by the day.
Oh my god.
I just
You
get
tell.
more and more antsy here.
Yes.
And
feel that.
but I am finding good ways to take up my time. Like Hanson, I started a YouTube channel actually before the whole COVID thing hit the fan and spread all
right
over
ahead of
the
that
world.
curve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what's your channel called?
Chim Ham.
He already said it.
He didn't say the name of the
Yeah,
channel.
he
I don't
did.
think, did he?
Yeah, he did.
There's a double plug for you.
Sweet.
What's the name of your channel again, Hanson?
Deliberation Room. Why do you
Wow.
ask? Give me a double plug.
I don't
Yeah,
have
so-
one.
But you need. Oh yeah, wait. Didn't you say something about your Wi-Fi?
Who?
Were you gonna upgrade or something?
Oh, Hanson or John?
John.
Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit of why we're having an issue with like
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to each other. Because of this whole quarantine thing, Caden's got a lot of family in. And some of them are young and at risk. So we're doing this through a Discord chat. Caden's recording his audio. So that's why if you hear us kind of get confused about who was talking to who, that's why we're not together and idiots and can't see the other person talking.
I'm an
Yeah.
idiot.
So Caden, you got a lot of family moved in, I hear.
Yeah, so because my school shut down, my brother and his family moved in. We all just kind of came to my
Yeah.
parents' house and hunkered down. Thankfully, I was already here, already taking online classes, and I already got a remote job that I can work from home. So everything's worked out, but
Yeah. I mean,
But,
that's honestly, it's good to have a family like that you can fall back on.
Yeah.
In times like that, or this.
yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty comforting to have that. But you want to hear something not comforting?
Go for it.
Hit me with it.
I just discovered that there are over 9,000 deaths in New York City, or New York, and maybe it's just New York City, and they're having to do mass burials now.
Okay. I saw the article you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I saw the picture too. That area, yes, it is a mass grave. But what that mass grave is for people who have died in it's like the city hospitals that don't have any family or any sort of contact for a funeral.
Oh.
So they are mass burying, but they already buried, I think the article said like 25 people per week. Now that number has gone up significantly.
Yeah.
But it's not just, we have people dying so fast, so we're
Right.
putting them in mass graves. It's, we don't have anyone to contact for a funeral.
Right.
So that's why they're doing it.
That
'cause I
makes
saw
more
that
sense.
and I was like, holy crap, what?
Yeah.
No way.
No, thanks
So-
for clearing that up because I just saw it right before we started this podcast.
Yeah.
And I didn't have I was shocked.
And that's something that needs to be dealt with, is how quickly, because an article like that is so, because we do spit takes on
Yeah.
Squire Time, and we make those titles intentionally jarring. Should murder be legal? Go check that one out if you haven't. We make those titles intentionally jarring to get people to listen to it. And people are doing, like, that's how news media makes their money, is by making jarring news.
Yeah.
But in a time like this, they need to be more cautious
Exactly.
about how they're titling stuff, how they're putting the news out
Because that causes so much more damage than the actual damage dealer itself.
Yep.
Like, the people's chaos has caused way more problems than the actual virus itself.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, you're totally right. That kind of over-the-top media is causing way more problems.
Yeah, I think, Caden, your exact words to me a few days ago was, the people are more dangerous in response to the virus than the virus is itself.
Yeah.
Which is completely true.
There's a guy, oh, shoot, I want to say it was, he does like a survival YouTube channel. But he talked about how he prepares for the zombie apocalypse, quote unquote. And he said, people ask me why I say, quote, zombie apocalypse. And he was like, because a zombie, quote unquote, herd can be seen as a large group of people who have a mindset of pure survival.
Yeah.
And he said, and that can happen in a society, not necessarily let's eat brains, but in a mindset of, we have to do nothing but survive, and we'll go to very extreme measures, including killing the people around us. So, the people can be very dangerous. But
my question is, in New York, where are they putting them? Like, it's nothing but asphalt.
It's actually an island. It's like a little off the... I think it was, Caden, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it like an off-the-coast island?
I think so. It was next... It was next... I think if I remember right, I'm just going off of the memory of the photo, but it was definitely dirt, and it was around a building, and it looked like it was...
They're burying them in, what, applesauce?
Well, John said asphalt,
dirt.
so I wanted to clarify they weren't like jackhammering the highway and just burying them under the cars.
I mean, I was thinking maybe they were putting them in what is Central Park?
What?
Oh, the Central Park?
It's the only little bit of dirt they got?
Yeah.
Where are we going to put these people? Rolls out a map on the war table, points at a speck of dirt on the map. Like, that's a good
All of
spot.
them. We're going to have to dig half a mile down to fit all the bodies, but we'll do it.
For the benefit of humanity, bury these people now.
Oh, man.
That reminds me, here's another tidbit of what I've been doing to survive, is I've been rewatching shows, and one of the show I just started was Lost. Have you guys watched Lost?
Oh, Lost is so good.
Yeah, I
Like
just
the first
started.
few episodes and I stopped.
It's so good. I mean, it's old now. It's definitely dated, but it brings back so many memories to watch. And one of the things was like, what are they going to do with all the dead bodies in the plane? Yeah. Anyways, so I haven't
I
gotten
did see that episode. Like, one guy wants to just burn them all, and one guy's like, "No, we need to bury them or something."
Yeah, but obviously burying takes
In a
a
really
lot
bad
more energy
situation.
than.
Eat them.
Wow, jumping right into it.
You want to live.
Jumping right into
Now,
it.
listen, if I were in that situation, I would leave it up to the mass majority.
Are we trying to spit take cannibalism right now?
No, we can do that later. Can do it later. Depending on where you're from.
Someone write that down. Write that down. That's a good one.
I'm
Write
gonna
that down.
I'm writing it down.
Spit take cannibalism.
I'm doing it right
Is
now.
it okay to eat people?
Oh, it totally is.
Zero hesitation. I think as long as you got the right spices.
Yeah, it's all about the herbs and spices.
I think
Not so
it's
much about
all-
the circumstances, but
I
really
think
how
it's
do you
all
prepare it?
About how much lean meat's available.
Lean meat, yeah.
I'm like the type of person.
Yeah.
It's all about the buns and thighs.
Yeah, I like.
Back straps are my favorite.
You speak as though you've already ate so
Coming
much.
from someone who has processed quite a few animals,
I thought you were about to say people.
I know all about what parts are good and which aren't. Humans. This is not coming from someone who endorses
people?
cannibalism or eats people. Humans do not have a vastly different physiology and
Yeah.
is it physiology? Yeah.
Anatomy?
Anatomy.
I
I think it's both.
Yeah,
We
sure.
Both. I think both work.
different- We're not different from animals that much.
Meat texture.
Right.
Like meat texture.
We have very similar muscle groups
Yeah.
as other animals.
Agreed.
So I do know your meat. Well, like an animal's meat tastes different compared to, or like the taste depends on what they've eaten. So
That's true. So you think like a fat guy would taste like McDonald's or something?
that's what I'm wondering is like, would a fat guy taste way better than a guy that eats like broccoli and asparagus all day?
I think
It depends if you like broccoli and asparagus.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Just
think
before.
I think okay, so like broccoli and asparagus, those are like really natural fatty oils, whereas like Burger King, that's a lot of saturated fat and sodium. So I could see it tasting different.
Yeah.
It's all I would say that the taste wouldn't be as different as the consistency itself.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there'd be a lot more fat in the
Yeah.
muscle, but
Yeah. I would say it'd be a lot more tender as well. People who eat broccoli and asparagus are typically
well, I mean, they
more
just
fit.
sit around all day, so their muscles aren't exactly lean and
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
what's the word? Yeah.
don't
Anyways, they're not good. They don't look yummy, but when you cut them open, then they're really yummy.
I don't think that's true. How do you know? This is all hypothetical.
Yeah, I think we accidentally just went down a spit take rabbit hole that we
We
need
can
to save.
definitely expand upon.
I
it later.
love rabbit holes.
But let's get back on topic with the whole quarantine thing.
Yeah.
I'd say like at my home, I've had like in like the past few days have been pretty rough.
Yeah.
At where I live, because my water went out.
Oh man.
We haven't had water for a few days.
How long has that been?
It's what today would be day 3, but the plumber came out and he's fixing it today. So yeah, it should be
Jeez.
it should be good now. But yeah, we hadn't had water for a few days, and it like stormed so bad yesterday. And I
It
took
was horrible.
Yeah.
took full advantage.
Yeah.
I went outside with buckets and started just collecting water,
Really?
so that I could use the bathroom.
I thought you were gonna say you were in your front yard in the middle of a rainstorm just bathing.
So it was enough
It's
rain.
an idea.
It's-
I mean,
it was
if it
enough
got
rain.
bad enough,
There was
absolutely.
enough rain, and it would blow dry you afterwards. It was so
true.
windy.
It's true.
Well, my granddad, he was always, he was born in 39.
Well, like Great Depression range.
Yeah, he was born in 30, so his parents would have definitely been. He was born in 39, and he kept rain barrels outside.
Yeah. That's something
And-
I've been trying to do.
I truly feel that all of this COVID stuff is going to create another generation of people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are going to be way more prepared for a future
Absolutely.
pandemic.
We have 100-gallon water barrels as storage.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that's fantastic.
Yeah, and
I mean a lot of people call it paranoia, but
It's preparedness.
yes,
It's not
exactly.
yeah, it's
paranoia.
preparedness. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, like look who's laughing now when this like pandemic happens. And those doomsday preppers. I mean, I'm not a doomsday prepper, but look who's laughing now. All those doomsday preppers are just sitting on top of their throne of food and
Toilet paper.
gluttony while we're just freaking around with our pants down.
Without toilet paper.
We
Hayden, I think your family's fairly prepared.
not as prepared as we would like to be. That's one thing that we were awakened to by this
Yeah.
pandemic is actually how little prepared we were.
So I don't think it's how little prepared we were. I think it was we were prepared for different
The
things.
wrong thing.
Yeah, and there's no way to tell. It's really hard.
Yeah.
You're preparing for like an I Am Legend type. Let's go out and fight in the streets. It's different than a stay in your house, don't move.
Yep.
You can't really I Am Legend your own house.
It's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
RTM or copyright. That'd be
It's
copyright.
copyright.
Yep.
But I was prepared to go out in my backyard and shoot some food and eat it.
Same.
But yeah, and I was about to, but then I was like, no, we should eat the food that we have now before it goes bad. But what were you gonna shoot, John?
Anything that moves.
Just your neighbor. Hey there, Johnny.
Well, the thing about it is I don't have neighbors. So if there's people there, they shouldn't be.
Do you know how one of the most fun ways to entertain yourself during this quarantine?
Huh.
Start your own podcast, and you can get some help with a little bit of help from our sponsor.
So coming back to things that are really fun, or things like that. We recorded an episode about hobbies.
Yeah.
But like, what about the things that we haven't done?
Like things we want to do?
Yeah, that we could still do.
Ooh. It had to be something you can either get
Bonsai
into...
trees.
Bonsai trees.
I am kind of already into that.
I'm not.
I mean, you guys aren't. You are not.
I've wanted to. My brother and I want to.
Well, I can set you up. I got seeds and stuff.
Yeah, I'll
Mail
totally hit you up for that.
Can't mail them.
Can't mail seeds?
I mean, they have a shelf life.
Ah.
Unless you keep them like refrigerated. So
yeah.
They have to stay I can't mail them.
Interesting. I did not know that.
They were mailed to me, and then after like a certain amount of time, I just have to keep them in the fridge.
Neat.
Yeah. But I do have some if you guys want them.
I do.
Cool.
You'll get them on your doorstep. Trying to think of something I'd want to get into.
Karaoke. I'm just kidding. That's a terrible one.
That's a fun story, actually, about quarantine. So I got a call one night for a noise complaint. Someone said that their neighbor had been blaring music for like 2 hours. So I head out to the house. I get there, and I see a guy in his driveway with like a kind of like a beach canopy type thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like the square pop-up canopy. And he's under that with like a DJ set up and a projector on his garage door with lyrics, and he's singing.
I love that guy.
And I like walk up, and he sees me, and he like finishes the song, and he goes, "We'll be right back, guys. Hang on." And I was like, "What are you doing?"
He was
like,
live streaming?
"Coronavirus karaoke."
Oh, nice.
And I was like, "Oh my god."
Get on the ground.
So I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He was like, "No." He's like, "I'm a DJ at this place, and we do karaoke I think it was a Friday night. He's like, "We do karaoke every Friday night, and we're like live streaming this, and like everybody's joining in and like singing at their house." And I was like,
okay.
"That's freaking awesome."
Still not okay.
Why?
Because it's noise ordinance.
Well, I told him, I was like, "Are y'all done for the night?" And he's like, "Yeah, we were about to wrap it up." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So when I cleared up from the call, I said, "County, we'll be clear. It's coronavirus karaoke." Oh, man.
Letting everybody know.
Yeah. So that is something you could get into during the COVID, because we got people live streaming their karaoke.
They got people live streaming everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're probably going to be live streaming your graduation.
I'm not going to be there.
Did not log in.
Send me an email, and they were like, "Hey, are you going to..." Well, they did, I'm just dumbing it down a little bit. Like, "Hey, are you going to be walking across? Let us know, yes or no." And I'm like, "Nope."
Man.
You can mail it to me. I don't really.
You need to walk.
I walked when I graduated last time.
At Tech?
Yeah.
That's not.
And then I walked at high school. I've walked twice. I'm good.
This is the big one, though.
I'm done,
You're not doing it for you. You're doing it for your mom.
I did it twice for my mom. I'm good.
She's good, too. Trust me.
She's good, too. She's had enough.
Hey, so that you bring up a good point. You bring up a good point. With the karaoke, I've actually always wanted to learn how to sing, and so maybe this is my chance while I'm alone. Actually, I'm not alone. I got my whole family.
Yeah, I was just alone with your entire family.
Well, I'm alone with my whole family, so I can just sing and no one will hear except all of them.
The
people I care about most.
The shower, best place to start.
Best acoustics ever.
But
best acoustics.
So I wanted to ask you guys, what are some things that you've always wanted to do that you've never done? Like learn another. So many people are learning another language or playing an instrument while they're in quarantine.
A lot of the things I want to do require me to go out. Like, for example,
hang on. I don't think that's entirely true.
Like, you and me would both like to get into rock climbing, John.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
And
Caden was in on that.
Yeah, that's right.
Well.
And can't do that.
Not yet.
No. Well, just drill some holes in your apartment wall.
Climbing on the drywall.
Yeah, just keep it under a quarter.
My handles keep breaking.
Just the drywall. It's like huge holes ripped out.
So I think one thing that we have started doing that we've, is this podcast.
Yeah. That's true.
Something that we've been able to do.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I would love to keep doing it.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
So, take this to another note. I saw something on Facebook the other day, and at first I kind of scoffed at it. It was like, hey, if you're dealing with depression during all of this, then you can talk to this person. and at first I saw it and I was like, who's really getting depressed from all this? Like, come on, you're just staying in your house. It's not that bad. But I guess as I think about it, some people, the saying idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who struggle with things like alcoholism that they've defeated, drug abuse that they've defeated and that are doing better from, and that now that they're not able to do anything, it creates a lot of idle hands.
There's also a lot of people with like debilitating depression.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people with like crippling anxiety. Like,
Absolutely.
There's people dealing with that.
And being away from people, you feel less inclined to get with those people that you usually talk through your problems with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I haven't noticed an upswing in our calls for suicidal issues or things like that, but I'm sure there are several agencies that are dealing with that.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with that, get help. Contact somebody. There are online resources that are contactless kind of things. Yeah. And shoot, if you really need it, shoot us up.
Yeah.
Not like shoot us up.
We'll have you on our podcast.
Just message us
that'd be awesome.
on any platform that we're on. And while I say it, I'm just going to go ahead and list them off. We're on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Castbox, Overcast, and Patreon. We're on a lot.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Hit us up on one of those. We'll get in touch with you. Like Hayden said, if you contact us, we'll bring you on the podcast. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
We'll talk about you.
And we've got an Instagram that you can message us on.
Yep.
We're currently setting up other social media that we can set you up on.
Yeah.
So like, we just want to. If you need us, we're here for you.
Absolutely.
Squires support Squires.
Yeah.
Nice support, Caden. Well, with that being said, thank you for everyone. If you've made it this far into the podcast, thank you for listening. We really appreciate your support.
Yep.
And let us know if we can support you. Hanson, would you do the honors?
Thank you, Squires, for your time.
Bye, guys.